The moon hung low, casting a silver glow across the quiet streets of the city. Mark had been walking for hours, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he was lost. The familiar buildings and alleyways had become strange and indistinct in the dark. He checked his phone again. No signal. The night had started innocently enough, with a quiet dinner and a few drinks at the bar. But as the hours passed, the crowd thinned, and he found himself standing alone outside, unsure of the way home. The streets, once bustling with life, were now eerily silent. He took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. The chill in the air made him wish he had worn a jacket. But it was too late for that. His footsteps echoed off the sidewalk as he wandered down another empty street. His phone screen lit up briefly before going dark again. No matter how many times he pressed the power button, it refused to work. Mark looked up, searching for anything familiar. The skyline loomed in the distance, but the buildings seemed different, twisted somehow. It was as though the night had swallowed up everything he knew. He turned a corner and saw an old bookstore with a dim light still shining inside. Desperate for some direction, he approached the door. A bell chimed as he entered, and the warm air inside wrapped around him like a blanket. The old man behind the counter looked up, his tired eyes meeting Mark's. "You're far from home," the man said, his voice gravelly yet kind. I think I've lost my way," Mark admitted, rubbing his temples. "I don't even recognize these streets anymore." The old man nodded, slowly sliding out from behind the counter. "That happens when you wander too far from what's familiar. The night has a way of playing tricks on you." Mark's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" The old man motioned for Mark to follow him into the back of the store. The shelves were filled with dusty books, their spines worn and faded. At the back, a large map of the city hung on the wall, its edges curling with age. "This map will show you the way," the man said, pointing to a place on the map. "But you must know this. Sometimes, finding your way home means understanding where you've been lost." Mark stared at the map, the odd words sinking in. "What do you mean?" The old man's smile was faint but knowing. "The night isn't just a time. It's a space. A place where everything you think you know disappears. But you must trust yourself. You've wandered into the night, but that doesn't mean you're lost forever." Mark's heart raced as he turned to face the door, his mind spinning. The bell jingled again as he stepped back into the street. The city around him looked exactly the same, yet he felt different somehow. Aware, alert, as if something had shifted within him. He looked up, and there, far in the distance, was the light of his apartment building. The path seemed clearer now, and with a renewed sense of certainty, he began walking toward it. The city didn't seem so strange anymore. As he walked, Mark realized the night had not stolen his way. It had given him something new, a quiet understanding that sometimes being lost is just the first step to finding something even more important: yourself. The streetlights flickered overhead as Mark walked on, no longer afraid of the dark, no longer lost.